Most residents that reside in upscale neighborhoods in Kampala would have a well-trimmed pathway that leads to their homes if not paved. But for Mr. Mwanguzi, a retired civil servant who resides in Naguru, an upscale suburb, this is not the case. His driveway looks bushy, and one cannot help but notice the thicket on the walls. It wasn't long before he started showing me around, explaining to me all the plants available. On entering his gate, one cannot help but notice the orchard that is covering his house that can hardly be seen.
It started as a hobby, and when I was preparing myself for retirement, I looked for something that I would do to keep me busy. So we started broadening this project by increasing on the varieties of fruit trees and the quantities.
Caleb now has many tree species that range from jackfruit, java plum, pawpaws, tangerines, sweet bananas, avocado, cocoa, among others. He has several varieties of the same fruits, of which some are disease resistant, which gives him alternative tastes when it comes to harvest time. Now, to most people, this might look like an obsession, but in reality, there's close to thousands and thousands of tree species and fruit species that are planted in this particular compound. Now, what this does is that it helps preserve most of these tree species that are fast disappearing in today's world. But because he has managed to plant many species in his compound, with others always reproducing, he is facing a challenge managing some of the fruit trees because of their colonial characteristics and competition for sunlight.
Yes, there is competition amongst the fruit trees, and what we do, you may have seen on the lower side, on the northern side, that we have been doing trimming, and we do pruning, and we do culling.
The fruits too are often attacked by fungi and other minor pests and diseases that are caused by the unreliable weather conditions around Kampala that make the area go for a certain period without rainfall.
Then we use natural available materials on the orchard, like ash, the dust of charcoal, diluted and fermented urine, chilies, hot chilies, and tobacco leaves.
Depending on where you live, there are many varieties of fruit trees that can be planted because they don't take up a lot of room and they bear fruit more quickly. That is why now some groups are focusing their efforts on mainly involving family, especially the children, with nature, to plant trees that will help restore the environment, especially in their homes.
And there is no better owner of a property than kids. If you give kids something to own, they will own it with their lives. So I thought to myself, let's get the kids to go all over Uganda and plant trees in their homes, at their churches, at their mosques, everywhere where they live and interact with their friends and families.
But is this possible with modern families that usually have paved compounds?
We go to our auntie's home, or I go to my grandmother's home and say, Jaja or Granny, I'm actually going to plant my tree here. So whenever I go to visit my grandmother, I check on it.
Orchards may seem like a luxury activity or something that is for a certain class of people. But this will go a long way in conserving the environment if taken up by many communities. Krekadoda, NTV, EcoTalk.